the dark forces are being exposed. The truth is starting to come out. All the people that used to think we were all conspiracy theorists for all these years are starting to go, wait a second, they were right. The government has been controlling everybody, dictating everybody, keeping everybody sick.
Unveiling the hidden truths, Dr. Group's insights on the origins of pain. Join us as Dr. Edward Group unravels the often overlooked role of toxicity in pain and disease. Discover his journey into the depths of natural medicine and learning why addressing the root cause is the key to lasting health. Welcome back to another episode of I Am Pain Free, the podcast where we explore groundbreaking methods to relieve and manage pain. Right. Today, we have a very special guest, Dr. Edward Group. He's the CEO of Global Healing and an all-natural health specialist. Uncover the profound realizations that led him on a quest, right? And to start questioning the conventional medicine practices, right? Why did he start questioning those and then striving, for a deeper understanding of toxicities? The answer may surprise you and leave you eager to learn more about reclaiming your health. So in this episode, we're going to talk about four key topics, right? We're going to discover the natural pain relief techniques for holistic healing. Those are important, right? Relieving external and internal toxicities, super important, and something Dr. Group's very passionate about, right? To alleviating pain. We're going to talk about enhancing overall well-being through prioritizing your gut health. It all begins at the gut, and then just gain an education and empowerment for effective pain management, right? We've all been there, relying on temporary fixes like pain medications only mask symptoms, but don't address the root causes. What if the secret to lasting pain isn't just about treating those symptoms? What about healing them from within, right? Awesome. Dr. Group offers a comprehensive approach to managing pain by focusing on internal cleansing and creating an environment within the body that's conducive to healing and well-being. By following these recommendations from Dr. Group, right, cleaning your gut, detoxifying your liver, removing parasites, and overall detoxification, you're not only just putting a Band-Aid on your pain, you're going after its root causes to heal you, forever, right? This is about empowering you to take control of your health and well-being, to live a life that's not just pain-free, but also filled with vitality and energy. Let's go. Hey, it's Rob Renee from the I Am Pain Free podcast, and today is a very, very special day. We have Dr. Group with us today from Global Healing. Dr. Group is I'm so excited because I've met him in the past. We've had an interview, and guess what? The interview had some sound issues, so I was so bummed because the nuggets he was dropping were amazing. Dr. Group from Global Healing has been helping people for many, many years. It's an organization he founded a number of years ago. How long has it been, Dr. Group?
It's coming on 30 years right now.
So cool. But man, the advancements they're making in health and how they're helping people naturally and faithfully, the key mantra of mine is absolutely incredible. So I'm super excited to have him here, and welcome to the show.
Hey, it's been since September or whatever, since we last filmed, and that was a really good show. But it's going to be even better today. Everything happens for a reason. So there was a reason why we needed to come back on. Maybe there was something else I didn't say then. I'm going to say today.
There we go.
I never know what I'm going to say. Actually, I just
I love it. I took down some notes, so I'm going to ask you some questions to make sure I get a couple of those awesome nuggets. But as we are focusing on, pain and helping people be pain-free naturally and faithfully, and the whole heart of the company is what we're doing is to get people off of big pharma drugs, right? And that's something that you have a mission and a passion for that's way beyond me, right? I just became awake to this issue and problem just a couple of years ago. So I'm way behind you, brother. But I'm fully on board, and I'm excited to support, you and everything that you're doing. So give us a quick background of how did you decide to do what you're doing?
Well, I was going to actually, my dream was to be a heart surgeon. And this is how the universe works. I ended up going to a dinner a few days before I was going to take my MCAT to get into medical school. And I ended up sitting next to a guy that was been studying natural medicine and natural cancer therapies. And mind you, this was in the 90s, the early 90s. There was no internet. I tell this story and people are like, you could just research online. No, back in the 90s, there was no internet. We still had to go to the libraries and we still had to use the phone to call people and ask them for information. There was no live chats or anything like that. And this guy was like, kind of aggressive. And we were going back and forth at the dinner table. I was like, why would they have prescription medications? I was I was brainwashed at the
Right.
time, basically.
Like we have been since our birth, right? Most of us anyway.
Everything about our lives is engineered, every single detail. It's like the Truman Show. It's that's a whole nother story about how our births are engineered, the political system's engineered, the financial system's engineered, the educational system's engineered, social media, TV is engineered. It's all designed. It's basically like we're living inside this control mechanism holographic movie that they're controlling all of us. And the sad thing about it is nobody even knows they're being controlled.
Yeah, I did.
They tell us what to eat. They get us addicted to sugar. They get us addicted to acidic things. They create diseases. They expose us to electromagnetic frequencies, everything. But long story short, I ended up going, we were arguing back and forth, and I ended up couldn't sleeping for 2 days after that, and went to the library and kind of tried to verify everything he was saying. I started with, he said, have you ever broken down a pharmaceutical and see what it actually does in the body, or do you just believe what they tell you? And I was like, whoa, wait a second. That was like light bulb going off. So I went to the library. I had a background in chemistry and biochemistry, and after 12 years of being in school, mind you, I was at the library for 3 hours and completely flipped my mind and realized that I had been lied to and deceived, and what they were telling me was a lie. It was very easy. It was a synthetic compound. It's, pharmaceuticals, or pharmaceuticals, I should say,
right,
are designed to address the symptoms or cover something up. It never addresses the root cause. So I joined his research team, and for 2 years we traveled around the world and we met with all the underground cancer doctors. And the team was designed to come up with two things. What is the root cause of cancer? And are there any natural products out there that could be brought into the big hospitals? That during that time was the CAM program in the 90s, where MD Anderson and Sloan Kettering and all these colleges were fakely saying they were researching complementary alternative medicines to bring in. We were part of that team. So what we found actually, and at the conclusion of all of our research, was very simple. All disease is caused by a toxic external environment and a toxic internal environment. That's about as simple as it gets. The toxic environment, we identified pain, thousands of things.
Not only cancer,
including pain. Exactly. Yeah. Pain and suffering is is one of those things. It's not. We also realized that the deficiencies that doctors were looking and seeing in blood work and urinalysis and hair analysis and all that, we also figured out that it was actually the toxicities that were causing the deficiencies. And when you're talking about pain, what we identified with pain was when you have acid substances, when you have an accumulation of inorganic minerals in your body, when you have an accumulation, of toxic food and beverages and frequencies and all of this stuff that builds up inside the system, it can create irritation and inflammation of the nerve endings. And then, that can lead most people that are in pain are at least 15 pounds overweight. And then they start having structural issues and they're not exercising. And so it's a combination of things, actually. It's not usually just one thing. And that's why football players or people or athletes can usually recover a lot faster from any type of pain or dysfunction that they might go through, as far as torn ligaments or pulled muscles or broken bones or something like that. But what leads to, outside of athletic pain and injuries with normal people just having pain, is a lack of muscle strength, a lack of ligament strength, a toxic body
Yeah, so go back to
with
that.
too
But you
many
mentioned
chemicals.
like there's toxicity both from external and internal, right? So
Yeah.
go into that a little bit. I love that.
So the toxicities that you're exposed to externally are mostly people. You might be creating stress and anxiety and depression and jealousy with your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your work people. The people that you're around with. There should be ultimately you should hang around with people that bring you up. Unfortunately, right now in social circles for the last 15 years, usually it's very negative. People are talking about the negative things. They're complaining about what's happening to them in their lives. And so it's not a positive, uplifting, vibrational energy. So you have to identify in energy, everything is in vibration and energy, including pain and anything in your life is all boils down to energy and vibration. So you really have to think of are the things in my external environment that are actually bringing my energy down, that are sucking energy from me, that are disrupting my vibrations. People is one, TV is another one, social media is another one.
Yeah, big one. Yeah.
Your carpet might be outgassing toxic chemicals in your home, your air
Yikes.
fresheners, your cleaning supplies, your memory foam mattress. These are all like there's thousands of things in the external environment. The air you're breathing, do you have mold in your house? What kind of personal care products are you using? Massive amount of things in the external environment that we identified that are toxic to your body, toxic
Right.
to your mind, and toxic to your soul, basically.
Right. Right.
And then the internal toxins, most of those obviously are going to come from what you're consuming liquid wise. Are you drinking alcohol? Are you drinking coffee? Are you drinking energy drinks? What kind of teas are you drinking? Are you drinking milk, which is toxic to your body?
Even the
Uh,
fluoride in the water, right? I mean,
the
just
fluoride and the chemicals in the tap water,
yeah.
all that. And then what are you eating? Are you eating genetically modified foods? Are you eating lots of gluten? Are you consuming lots of sugar? Are you consuming non-organic foods? How much are you eating fast food in the restaurants? How much are you microwaving your food? I mean, all of these things, which we actually have a whole course on that at the Global Healing Institute, which is called the Root Cause of Disease course, which really goes into and explains exactly that, because it's really all about teaching people why they have pain. Okay, like we're in a system now where people have been so coerced and so deceived that they believe that they have to run to the medical community or the hospital or the doctor with whatever they have. And so our job is to try to teach them why they have that. And still the medical profession never actually explains to them, why do you have pain outside of injury or outside of something else, and what you can do to resolve that in a natural manner.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, one of the things we talked about in the past that I thought was just so intriguing was just the gut health, right? And how important that when you are working on to fix yourself, it's like if you don't have a healthy gut, then it's really hard to start fixing the other things, right? So explain that a little bit.
Well, when we analyzed all the external and internal toxins that were affecting people and that were the root cause of all disease, the next question we asked was, okay, well, how are the toxins entering the body? And obviously, emotions and people enter through your mind. It creates mental instability. But the other toxins, most of the other toxins and chemicals and poisons, the first entry point, about 90% of them enter through your gut, because most of them you're going to be drinking or eating. So after we did our whole evaluation and we, on all these different diseases, we realized that all disease, really, the majority of disease starts in the gut, and all health begins in the gut. And that's why it's very important to take care of your gut, which is actually your mouth all the way through your anus. That's considered your intestinal lining or your intestinal tract. And most people that have any type of pain or any type of discomfort or any type of disease or degenerative disease, you ask them, when is the last time you actually cleansed your intestines? And they say, never. So most people by the age of 30 have anywhere between 10 to 20 pounds worth of compacted fecal matter, hard compacted fecal matter stuck in their guts, and their lining swells up. It's like a balloon. And so they have all kinds of bacteria, parasites, fungus, yeast, all these other organisms in there. And that secrete even more acids into the system. And acids burn the nerve lining. That's what is one of the things that actually creates pain, is a burning of the neurological or inflammation or aggravation of the nerve ending somehow or another through the acidic inflammatory compounds that are produced. So that's why step number one is always teaching people why they have the condition and why they have pain or why they have suffering. Step number two is, let's identify all of the things in your external environment that are causing all these things or contributing to your toxicity in your life. And number three, let's identify everything that's contributing to the toxicity within your body that you're consuming and drinking and putting on your skin. And then we start with the cleansing process. I mean, it's common sense, basically. If you know you're bringing in a million chemicals and toxins on a daily basis, how do you get rid of them? Well, you sweat them out. You defecate them out. You don't really urinate too many toxins out. We found that out. That's more of a relay type system. But women have their menstrual cycles and they menstruate out the toxins. But really, the skin is the largest organ that you can push toxins out. You actually respire the toxins out as well. But we always start by cleansing and healing the gut, because the gut is the most important part.
Interesting. I love that. So then you have a whole protocol for doing that, right? And then after you cleanse your gut, then you want people to do cleansing of specific organs, maybe, if that's the problem. Is that am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, absolutely. What we've found over the years is that most people's gut is toxic. Most people's liver is only functioning at around 15 to 20%.
Wow.
Most people are riddled with parasites, and most people are riddled with a massive amount of chemicals and heavy metals that are stored in their body. So these are like the key areas that we identified, and we actually did research on these and said, okay, what if we take individuals that are sick, that are suffering from any kind of degenerative disease, and we try this theory out, and we say, okay, you're going to spend the first week cleaning and healing your gut. You're going to spend the next 2 or 3 weeks doing 2 or 3 or 4 liver cleanses. After the liver cleanses, we're going to do a parasite cleanse, and that means we're going to get rid of all the harmful organisms in your body, all the worms and the candida and the yeast and the fungus and the mold and
Let's
all
do that.
the harmful bacteria. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to eliminate all of the chemicals and the heavy metals that you've been building up in your system for so many years. And to our shock and confirmation of our research, pretty much every single person, regardless what they were suffering from, after they started cleansing their body and changing their environment and not putting poisons back into their system again, recovered within 3 to 6 months of whatever disease they were suffering from. Because another thing that we noticed was what it was doing is it was reactivating their body's own self-healing mechanism.
Yeah, I love
We
that,
are the most powerful healer in the world.
Yeah, God made our
Not your
bodies-
doctor. You are the most powerful healer in the world.
Yeah. God
The
made our
medical
bodies
system is
amazing,
good
right?
basically for one thing, and that's running diagnostic tests or emergency care. Other than that, they're horrible, and we're ranked number, 38th or something, or even down to 50-something in the world as a country as far as medical care goes.
It's pathetic.
It's
right?
time
It's
right
supposed to be
now
the
when we're
most advanced.
when we're starting this great awakening process, and everybody is now seeing how horrible the medical system is, especially during the pandemic,
That's
the
really
poisons that they're
woke me up.
recommending you inject inside of you, and the bioweapons and all this other stuff. So, it takes pain and trauma and suffering to wake people up sometimes, and that's exactly what we're going through right now. I think pain and trauma and suffering can be a good thing, or it can be a bad thing. I've had many people
when you're
in
going
pain
through it, right? But let's if once you figure out a way to heal it, then the lights start coming on, right? Like,
right.
oh,
Pain and trauma and suffering can lead you down 2 paths. It can lead you down the if you look for outside to other people to heal you and get help or go into the medical system, it can lead you down to death. Pain and trauma and suffering on the other side can lead you to enlightenment. And just interviewing patients that have conquered using natural medicine, they all, if you interview them, say, yeah, I had to go through the most pain and trauma and suffering I've ever been through in my entire life. But you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to me. It changed my life forever. And same with people I've interviewed that had drug addictions that spent millions of dollars in rehab, and nothing ever worked until they lost everything. They said, I was like, well, you've been clean for 10 years now. What did you do? And they say, I had to go through the most pain and trauma and suffering I've ever been through. I lost my wife. I lost my family. I lost my kids. I lost my money. I lost my job. I had nothing. And then something clicked inside of me. And from then on, from that, I had nowhere else to go but up. I was at rock bottom.
Right.
And that changed my life, and I've never turned back again. So that's what we're going through as a society right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
as
sense.
a world society, is that the dark forces are being exposed.
Yeah,
The
amen.
truth is starting to come out. All the people that used to think we were all conspiracy theorists for all these years are starting to go, wait a second, they were right. The government has been controlling everybody, dictating everybody, keeping everybody sick. The medical system's been working with the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab's and all these people that want to just take your money and rule you and control you
And
and
depopulate
debilitate you,
yeah.
and cause pain. What we're talking about today, we're talking about, pain is not just physical pain. Okay. Pain is something that many people go through emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And all of those things need to be addressed when you're talking about pain. And that's why I wanted to mention the pain and trauma and suffering, and that pain and trauma and suffering can actually be a very good thing. Many people recover from that and be like, you know what, that pain I went through was the best thing, because that was a learning experience for me, and it made me be responsible for my own health instead of relying on somebody else or some doctor to cover up my pain.
I love that. That message is so key, right? So that's, I want everybody to understand that, right? Because if and maybe we can help people like me in the respect that when I had an addiction to alcohol, right? So I drank alcohol for 25 years, and I didn't have to hit rock bottom, thank God, but I did. I went through a bad time, but I just woke up one day. I was like, this is not healthy. This is not good for me, and I'm gonna just stop. And so I started on a path to much better health, right? But this is the point where I want to have everybody listen to what Dr. Group is saying, because it's so important. It's like you're at a decision point where you can take that decision to go into the medical system to help you. And I'm not recommending one way or another, but I'm just saying, giving you options, right? The other option is that you can start learning about your body and learning how to do things naturally and healthfully, like Dr. Group is recommending. And it's a path that is shown enormous benefits. So I just want people to look at that and say, hey, I want to prevent you from going to rock bottom. Let's stop you before you hit there, and let's bounce you off before you get there. And you can do that today. So just start listening to what Dr. Group is saying. This is awesome. So what else? What other awesome nuggets can you help?
Well,
us with?
Basically, you're right. Everything in your life comes down to, I'm a guy of simplicity. I've always taught simplicity to everybody, and I'm always like, can I make that simpler? Can I make that simpler? And so what I've really realized is your whole life comes down to 4 words, especially when you're talking about health. And the first 2 words are internal and external environment. This is the environment in which you live. It's the environment in which you surround yourself in. You should really be aware and always trying to improve your external and your internal environment. But in order to do that, the following 2 words, the other 2 words, are time and decisions. So internal, external environment, time, and decisions. Those are the 4 words. And I learned that over the years, because interviewing billionaires and multimillionaires and all these people that were so successful, and they were in their 60s, and they would come to see me with all kinds, on 10 medications for anxiety and stress and depression. And they were, 50, 60 pounds overweight, and they had all the money in the world. And I would interview them, and I would say, well, what would you do different? If you could do it all over again, what would you do different? And they would say, I wish I would have. And I heard that over and over and over and over. I wish I would have.
I wish I would have
spent more time with my kids. I wish I would have spent more time with my family, my wife, or my 5th wife at this point in time, because they've been divorced 5 times because they were never around.
Right.
I wish I would have spent more time on myself. I wish I would have spent more time on my health. And so I always tell people, Time is the only asset that you can never get back. It's the most valuable asset you have. Don't be one of those people that say, I wish I woulda, I wish I woulda. But time depends on decisions. If those people would have made the decision to spend more time with their family, the decision to spend more time with their kids. So time and decision goes hand in hand. And when you're talking about improving every day you wake up, all you're doing is making decisions based on time. Am I going to, or even the night before, am I going to wake up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning and meditate? Or am I going to wake up sleep in, watch TV tonight, and wake up and eat a Egg McMuffin in the morning? Your whole life is nothing more than time and decisions that you make. So
Right.
you can start by making the right decisions right now. You're only one decision away from changing your life right now. You can map that out and restructure your time. I'm going to spend, an hour with my kids every day. All those different decisions you're going to make. You can start by making one positive decision a day, and then go to 2 positive decisions, and then 3 positive decisions. And even, going to grab that energy drink or going to grab that alcohol in the evening, that's a decision. You're making a conscious decision to go grab that alcohol, which is unhealthy. And whatever you're thinking you're doing, or whenever you're changing your habits, you're really looking and asking the question, is this going to raise my vibrational frequency and make me more healthy? Or is this going to lower my vibrational frequency and make me less healthy? And then you make the decision based on that. Let's say you have a dinner birthday party with your friends and you're going out to a steak restaurant. Your mind is telling you, oh, I'm going to get that filet mignon and that,
Right.
that killer cheesecake,
Yeah.
and that we're going to drink that $200 bottle of wine tonight. And it's going to be all this, because your mind is negative. Your mind always tries to lead you towards the negative things, the low vibrational things. That's just the way that we're programmed on this planet. The soul is the positive one. The mind is the negative one. So the mind always tries to lead you to evil. The soul always tries to lead you to enlightenment. And so this is a battle with the mind that you're really facing here. And so you have to be strong enough to say, when you're looking at that menu, you're making a decision. Am I going to get that salad, which is going to raise my vibrational frequency, or am I going to get that steak, which is going to lower my vibrational frequency? So it really comes down to the simplicity of you. If you can just start boiling everything down to simplicity of each decision that you make throughout the day, thinking about it for a few minutes and saying, am I going to make the right decision or the wrong decision for this? And really, you only need to live by the 80-20 rule. You can leave some wiggle room in there. If you're making 8 out of 10 decisions that you're making are positive for your health and your well-being and your mental health and your soul, leading you to higher levels of awareness and enlightenment, then that's a great thing.
It is a great thing. What I find is it becomes addicting too, right? Once you start doing the right things and to make the right decisions, that you start the endorphins start to come from, I feel better, right? I feel good. I want to eat this salad. I want to. It's like so bizarre, because your mind will learn to like those things, right? It's just it's amazing. When I've been starting a cold plunge, right? So every day this year I've done a cold plunge, and that is when you sit there at the beginning, you're like, I do not want to get in this thing, right? Your mind's like, no, but you get in, and when you get out later in the day, it's like, man, I feel so good for doing that. It was a great decision, right? And I think people need to do that with their health, just in general. Let's start making the right decisions, and then it's going to be an addictive thing. They're just like, yeah, I feel so much better. I'm going to keep doing this, and then you can snowball it into something that's amazing. One of the things you mentioned in our last discussion, which I thought was really impactful too, was about what's the most important education that someone can get and do.
By far, the most important education somebody can do is to learn what is in their external and internal environment that's creating negative disruptions or poisoning or being toxic to them, their friends, their family, and their body. That's the one thing that's missing from the medical field and from the education system, is actually teaching people how to pay attention to their body. And we actually have a course on that called the Root Cause of Disease course, which is a fantastic course that I recommend. It's a compilation of all of our research in the last 30 years, but it's done at a very fourth grade level. So even kids can take that course. And it opens your eyes to the level of deception and poisoning that's been going on for so many years. For example, people think, oh, microwave ovens are good. It's going to help me out. It's
Yeah,
just going to warm my
it's so
food up
easy,
really
right?
fast. But
Boom.
little do they know, they're actually radiating their food and creating and turning their food into toxic poison, So I recommend always people start with education and learning about what they can do and taking some time and effort to actually look for other options and research other options, regardless of what kind of pain they're suffering from. If it's emotional pain, if it's physical pain, if it's spiritual pain, start listening to your body and start, taking responsibility and researching different ways and different methods to try to learn more. The more that you learn, the more educated you become about whatever you may be suffering from. That's usually why you suffer, to learn from it. That's why it's kind of karma. They call it karma in the East. But it. Usually when you get a headache, it's your body going, hey, hello, listen to me. I have a headache. What did you eat this morning? What did you drink this morning, or whatever? Usually a symptom is the body trying to communicate with you, and we don't listen. Because we've been taught wrong. We've been brainwashed to think that if I feel something wrong with my body, it's a sign that I need to go run to the doctor's office. So number one is just like start listening to your body and start understanding your body and learn about your body and the power that your body has and the self-healing mechanism that's inside your body.
I love that. I love that. Now, I know with global healing, you guys have been on the forefront of research and doing a number of things. Obviously, quantum energy is important to me, since that's one of the things that we do with QE Strong and our products. But I also know that you're working on, it's not that, is it glycol, how do you pronounce the word? Glyconormal? Is that some of the new research that you're doing?
Yeah, we just call it microsomal because
microsomal.
we actually did a survey and nobody could really pronounce that word.
There you go. See,
it was a example. It was a technology that was developed by the cosmetic industry actually years ago, and I try to like to stay around 10 to 15 years ahead of the time. So I'm always like looking at advancements in biopharma and technology, because I watch what they're doing. I'll kind of watch what the evil cabal is doing out there. And they've been working on nanotechnology and lipid nanoparticle delivery systems within the body and biosensors in the body to be able to use these things to control and gather data within the system. They've been doing that for quite some time, actually. And so I like you always, I've had these premonitions since I was a kid and kind of these visions. And I knew that nobody in the dietary supplement industry has been focusing on this, because we're really kind of 100 years behind the times still with capsules compared to what Big Pharma is doing with their lipid nanoparticle aerosolized delivery systems and injectable delivery systems, and all kinds of like nanotechnology and quantum dot technology and robotic technology that they're using. That's the future of pharma. They even say it. It's just like Klaus Schwab comes out and says the transhumanism agenda, basically create a half robot, half human. And so I started saying, well, how are we going to, because I'm always solution oriented, and I saw what they were using, the compounds they were using, the quantum dot technology they're using, the self-assembling technology, the hydrogel technology. And I'm like, how do we fight what they're doing? And they're using nanotechnology. I said, well, we're going to have to use nanotechnology to get to their nanotechnology. But I want to do it all using cold, raw, unprocessed, unheated, nature stuff, organic, non-GMO, organic stuff from nature. And so took me about 7 years to figure out how to do that, to create glycerisomes is what it's called. You
there
were right.
We go.
Glycerisomes.
That's one I couldn't explain.
A glycerosome is a bubble basically of lipids. using glycerin, vegetable glycerin from mustard seed, as well as fresh raw avocado oil and fresh raw olive oil. And we use sound frequencies, just like in ancient Tibet, where they would lift a 200-ton boulder 200 feet in the air by using different types of sound frequencies. So we figured all that out. And so we're able to actually, by using sound and a special type of water, we're actually able to take nanoparticleize the minerals and supplements, the organic stuff, and wrap it in that lipid layer vesicle. So it's called the microsomal technology. It's brand new. We only have a couple products. We're going to be rolling out more products right now, but it is amazing because the bioavailability is 30 to 50% more bioavailable than the lipospheric or the liposomal stuff that you see out there. Nobody in the world has created a technology like that, and we do everything for the people. Like, I have a supplement company and they call me the mad scientist because I'm so strict about making sure that if I'm going to take the supplements myself, I want to make sure they're the highest quality and the best out there. That's why I do everything from working with the farms all the way to the raw materials, to the testing, and then all the way through the production process to make sure we have the cleanest, most highly bioavailable and highly vibrational products in the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you want to give an example of one of the two that you've got out now, and what are the most exciting ones you're working on?
Oh, we're able to see up until now, most people are using synthetic minerals. And now we're working with different types of technologies to be able to take the organic minerals instead of inorganic minerals out of plants. See, usually all the minerals in the soil are inorganic. So as the plant takes it up, it converts it from an inorganic form to an organic form. So it would be like copper, for example. You have a copper 1, which is an organic form, and then you have a copper 2, which is in inorganic form. The copper 2 is in the soil. When the plant takes it up, it converts it to the organic form, which is copper 1. We're supposed to be consuming organic minerals, but everything, most people's diet entails about 90 to 95% cooked foods. There's very few people out there that are just, eating 90% raw stuff, raw sprouted nuts and seeds and sprouts and, fruits and vegetables and all that stuff. So anytime you cook, heat, microwave any of these foods, and then all the inorganic minerals that are in the tap water, the bottled water, all that stuff that's inorganic minerals, that builds up inside your system. And the inorganic minerals are classified as metals, actually. So our job, what we want to do is we want to eliminate all those and detoxify all those from the system. So we're working on extracting these organic minerals and making them microsomal from plants. So we'll have the first certified organic zinc, for example, from plants, microsomal. First certified organic selenium and all these minerals that people are missing that we can extract from plants and put out to the world. So very exciting things. We can actually take and create a microsomal glutathione, which we're going to be creating, microsomal parasite formulas. And the difference is these microsomal vesicles will go every single where in the body and attack any type of abnormal situation or grab different types of metals. We're doing a microsomal binder formula. I mean, ultimately, we'll try to move as many of our products over to the microsomal technology as we possibly can.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's what I love about what you're doing is you're gonna figure out the most healthy way to do it, not necessarily the least costly way to do it, right? Which makes your products more expensive than when people look at it, but at the same time, it's because it's way better, right? It's like than the other guys who are getting raw materials from bad places and not doing things the way they should. That's why I love your products and what you do. So man, what a blessing, what a pleasure to have you. I'm so excited about what Global Healing is doing, what you're doing with a consortium of doctors, and it's just going to be 2024 is going to be an amazing year. And like you said, maybe a great awakening, right? I think the awakening is happening. I think a lot of people are realizing that there's a lot of evil things going on in the world, and it really is a good versus evil fight that's happening. And I love the the side that you're on, and I want to join the side that you're on, Dr. Group.
Well, you already on our side, and there's many people that are on our side and are waking up, and it's really just the more awareness and the more awakening and the more you're willing to open your mind up to new possibilities, that and questioning everything, basically saying, has everything that I've ever been taught real? Is it a lie, or is it, a semi-truth? And being able to really open up your mind to all possibilities and get and stop the judgment that you've been told through believing everything you hear on social media and mainstream TV. Alex Jones is a conspiracy theorist, or this is happening. Like basically every single thing, I would say 95% of the stuff that you're going to hear on mainstream TV through ABC, CBS, Fox News, CNN, any of those type of channels, all that is scripted. It's a big game. It's just like they script it all, and 90% of it is lies. What they're telling you most of the time, exactly the opposite is true. So just start understanding and just asking the question and making that commitment to change your mindset and start doing your own research and looking in other directions and finding solutions. If you put out the willpower and the thoughts that to bring you, for the universe or God to bring you the solutions, they'll show up if you ask for it. Become a seeker of truth and knowledge.
I love that. I think that some key points from that, do your own research, right? And find people like Dr. Group who you can trust. And, don't trust Dr. Group. Go look and see if anything he tells you is wrong, right? And if you can't find anything he tells you is wrong, guess what? He's right. So start doing that, right? And you go look at other people and you start researching the things that they're telling you, and it's not right. So then you're like, okay, so then most of the things that person's telling me are not right. So just got to start doing that yourself. In this day and age, it's just way too important. So super excited. Thank you for everything you're doing. I think you're going to help a lot of people really understand their bodies better and how to start getting off of pain and getting off of drugs and getting off of big pharma medications by what? Guess what? Start healing your inner self and your inner body and get rid of those toxins, both external and internal. And just look at all the things. How do people get a hold of you, Dr. Group?
They can go to globalhealinginstitute.org. That's our school platform and the courses that we teach. And they can also go to our main website, globalhealing.com. That's going to have lots of information about products. And that's where we have all of our really exclusive high-end products that we produce and sell to people for improving their health, all the detoxification programs, detoxification strategies, the gut cleanse, the liver cleanse, the parasite cleanse, the chemical and heavy metal cleanse. That's all at the globalhealing.com site.
Fantastic. So with that, we're signing off. God bless you. Thanks for taking the time. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, you might be expecting a sales pitch for a pain relief solution, but here's a pleasant surprise. I'm offering a 3-episode pop-up podcast absolutely free, right? This exclusive 3-episode private podcast series is packed with more value than many paid programs out there, right? So, and getting access is a breeze. If you're listening on our phone, which most of you probably are, simply, just open up your text messaging app and send pain free, all one word, to 41 pain free. That's just 417-246-3733. Again, 417-246-3733. You're just going to text that word pain free, right? If you're not a fan of texting, no problem, right? Just visit iampainfree.com and then you can go get that pop-up podcast there at no cost, right? This isn't just a podcast series that I put together. We call it Beyond Pain, the Triple B blueprint for a pain-free existence. It's a treasure trove with secrets, expert interviews, and a resource vault, all aimed at guiding you to live pain-free naturally and faithfully. It's a rare and value-packed resource that we're thrilled to share with you. So don't wait, right? Text pain-free, all one word, to 417-246-3733. Or visit iampainfree.com, right, to unlock this exclusive content. Join us on a journey to a pain-free life, the natural and faithful way, all completely free, just for you. God bless.